Did you know that Tupac got into it with the Milwaukee Gangster Disciples? The year was 1994. Pac was on top of the rap game at this point in his career. Songs like Brenda's Got a Baby and Keep Your Head Up solidified Pac as a force to be reckoned with in the music game. The movie Juice had already cemented Pac as not only a great rapper, but a very good actor as well. So what happened the day Pac got into it with the GDs in Milwaukee? What started it? It was a show like any other. The setting, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Pac and his crew Thug Life were on stage doing their thing as per usual. The crowd was feeling it. They were dancing, having a good time. There happened to be a lot of gangster disciples in the building that night, and lots of them were throwing up their gang signs while Pac sang his hits. This infuriated Pac. Why? We're about to jump into it. But first, please hit that like button, and if this is your first time joining the channel, please hit that subscribe button. To understand why Pac was upset at the GDs throwing up their gang signs in the audience, we have to rewind a bit to a story around the same time that hit the national news out of Chicago, home of the Gangster Disciples, where an 11-year-old Black Disciples gang member was shot and killed execution style. Robert Yummy Sandifer was an 11-year-old boy from Chicago, Illinois. His murder by fellow gang members in Chicago garnered national attention because of his age, resulting in his appearance on the cover of Time magazine in September 1994. After committing murder, arson, and armed robbery, Yummy was killed by his own fellow gang members who feared he could become an informant and that he was attracting too much attention toward their activities. Leading up to this show in Milwaukee, Tupac was fully aware of the Yummy Sandifer story since it was national news. This story infuriated Tupac. This gang killed one of their own, let alone he was 11 years old. So when Pac sees the GDs in the crowd in Milwaukee dancing around, throwing up their sets, something inside of Pac snapped. This is when he began ridiculing the gang for their actions, cussing them out on stage, calling them all kinds of B words and MF words. Thug Life were in attendance at this time, and they were looking at Pac like, what the hell are you doing? You're going to get us killed. But Pac didn't care. He was so upset at this 11-year-old's death at the hands of his own gang that he was ready to take on a whole nation that night. Needless to say, the GDs wanted to kill Pac. They started throwing bottles at Pac and his crew. Pac and his crew started throwing bottles and chairs back. They were rushing the stage, throwing blows, kicks, elbows. Spice One even had to grab his blicky and join in on the melee. It was crazy. Cooler heads prevailed, and Pac and his crew made it out alive that night. When I hear stories like this, it reminds me of why Tupac was so special. He was literally willing to die over his beliefs.
I went out there, they be looking out for me, but they be gang, so like the one set want me to be down with them, and the Blackstones want me to be with them, the GDs be with them, but yeah, I had to run it with them, in Milwaukee, because that was when that little kid died, Yummy Sandifer.
Yeah, I heard you sent a shout out to him.
Yeah, I did a show that next day after they just killed that kid.
Yeah.
Because you heard what happened, right?
Yeah, they executed him.
Right, they executed him, and I was out there when I did the show. The gang was in the fucking audience. The whole gang had like bought out the stadium.
Damn.
So I'm rapping to the niggas that just killed this little kid, and they all screaming out "Thug Life," and I felt bad. Like, wait a minute, they got it twisted.
Yeah.
So I started cursing them niggas out, like, y'all niggas is cowards. Y'all niggas cowards. Y'all killed that kid. Y'all niggas is punks, man. I hate all you niggas. I heard all you. Them niggas start throwing shit. We had it out in the stadium.
Damn.
It was tough, man. The whole gang tore up the whole neighborhood. But then I started getting letters from that area where all, like, the mothers, the girls was writing me like, thank you for doing that, because everybody's scared of these niggas. See, that's what I want to do.
That's right.
I wonder if these gang niggas ain't gonna get straight, then I want to take them out the gang.
That's real.
Because if they don't, it's making trouble on us.
Yeah, because if you ain't part of the solution, then you part of the problem.
No doubt.
And therefore, you gonna be trying to whack us anyway.
No doubt.
See what I'm saying? So shit, you know, business as usual.
I stay strapped with my gap even when I'm in the field mode.
Let's talk about the time Tupac was robbed in the Bay by JT the Bigger Figure and some Fillmore cats. Before we discuss the incident, let's discuss the Fillmore district area of San Francisco, where JT is from.
I stay strapped with my gap even when I'm in the field mode.
After the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, the district experienced a large influx of diverse ethnic populations. It began to house large numbers of blacks, Jews, and Japanese, earning it the reputation for being one of the most diverse neighborhoods in San Francisco. The area was known for having the largest jazz scene on the West Coast. After World War II, the black population in San Francisco grew from around 4,800 to around 43,000. A large percentage of those living in the Fillmore.
I stay strapped with my gap even when I'm in the field mode.
Fast forward to the 1980s and 90s, like most black neighborhoods at the time, crack hit. Crime skyrocketed, and the Fillmore became a much rougher place to live than before.
I stay strapped with my gap even when I'm in the field mode.
This is the area JT the Bigger Figure and his crew, the ones who jumped and robbed Tupac, called home. So how did Tupac get robbed? What happened? By most accounts, there was no beef between Tupac and Fillmore. The beef at the time was between Richie Rich and Fillmore. Richie Rich was a very popular rapper from Oakland. He himself had a couple of hits, and he's even done several songs with Tupac. They were very close friends, actually. There was a song out at the time by the Governor titled Gaffled Like That. In the song, Richie Rich has a line that says something to the effect of, "I got some broke Fillmore niggas trying to rob me for my gold tones." JT, being from Fillmore, was not too fond of that line. Hell, Fillmore wasn't too fond of that line. Even though it was true that Richie Rich was in fact chased out of Fillmore because someone was trying to steal his car, they still weren't feeling him putting it in a song. Before I continue, I'm going to ask you to hit that like button, and if this is your first time joining my channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button.
I stay strapped with my gap even when I'm in the field mode.
This all happened around the time the movie Juice came out. So Tupac was about as famous as it gets, especially in hoods all over the United States. Everyone saw that movie when it came out. So Pac was the man. Well, it just so happened that right around the time this song came out, where Richie Rich said that line about the Fillmore, Pac and Richie were booked on the same show in San Francisco as JT, the Bigger Figure. Now, at this time, the story goes, Tupac knew nothing of the beef and nothing of the issues that Fillmore had with Richie Rich.
I stay strapped with my gap even when I'm in the field mode.
JT and his crew show up deep, way deeper than Richie Rich and his boys, which included Pac and the Governor. Pac and them were on stage when all hell broke loose. Pac apparently had a lot of heart and stayed there to defend his homie. It's said that Tupac grabbed the mic stand he was rapping with and just started busting people upside the head with it. Eventually, it became too much as JT's crew descended onto the stage, and eventually they packed out Pac and the crew. They even started grabbing people by the leg and pulling them off stage into the crowd, where they continued to whoop on them. One thing that all parties have agreed to is that Pac didn't punk out. He took his lumps and fought till he couldn't fight no more. Pac, the governor, and Richie Rich just wanted to get out all in one piece. During the stomping, JT's crew allegedly walked away with some of Tupac's jewelry, including a hair-on bone necklace, a watch, and a diamond ring. It wasn't like they had it in for Pac any more than anyone else. He just happened to have on the most jewelry at that time. It is said that the jewelry was then taken to the Fillmore, where it was passed around and seen as a trophy of sorts. One good thing that came out of this: no gunshots, no deaths. Thankfully, everyone involved made it out alive.
I stay strapped with my gap even when I'm in the field.
A few years back, I interviewed Black C from the RBL Posse, a classic West Coast group from San Francisco. Him and I discussed what he remembers about the night Tupac was jumped by some Fillmore cats. Please hit that like button, and if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. I'll talk to you soon.
I stay strapped with my gap even when I'm in the field.
I just want to name a few people, and you give me a nice little short story or a thought, or something that comes to your mind. What about, did you ever run into Tupac?
No, I never met Tupac. I seen shit getting chased up out of the stone in Frisco by the Fillmore dudes.
Oh,
Fillmore dudes, yeah, JT and all they little crew. Yeah, them Fillmore dudes wasn't playing, man. Them Fillmore dudes, they used to be bullies back in the days. I ain't gonna lie, they was crazy. Them dudes had some. Even to this day, JT and all the dudes I know from Fillmore, they still the same. Fillmore got so much Fillmore pride, man. It's a fool. They was telling a story about it. Quinn did one of the interviews and told the whole little inside story. I wasn't inside the building, but I pulled up afterwards because there was a show a week after we did our show. We had a show with Andre Nicotina, Totally Insane, and GLP. And it was probably one or two other groups we did at the Stone on Broadway in Frisco. And then, a week later, they booked the governor. They from Oakland, and Richie Rich. They was doing the show, and they brought Tupac. And, it was some shit had happened. I don't know exactly what happened, but something had happened to where them dudes ended up jumping Tupac up in there and chasing out the building. I just seen the ruckus afterwards, them come running out. I was like, damn, what that? And that's Tupac, Digital Underground. I'm like, what? They're like, the Fillmore dudes is on it.
Goddamn.
Yeah, but I never met him personally. I never got a chance to meet him.
Did you know Tupac had beef with Ice Cube?
I dig Ice Cube. I looked up to him. But because I looked up to him and I studied his style, mastered his shit, I know what he's doing is wrong.
The beef between Tupac and Ice Cube wasn't as headline grabbing or as drawn out as, say, the Tupac versus Biggie beef, but it was still very real in the mid-90s, and it reflected the tense, shifting hip-hop landscape of the time. Around 1994, 1995, Ice Cube, Dub C, and Mac 10 formed West Side Connection. Their debut album, Bow Down, was pro-West Coast and anti-East Coast at the height of the East versus West beef. Tupac, meanwhile, was signed to death row after Suge Knight bailed him out of prison. Pac took on the role of the West Coast's loudest voice, especially after All Eyes on Me dropped in 1996. Many saw Cube's West Side Connection and Pac's Thug Life Outlaws movement as competing visions of West Coast unity. Many people close to Tupac at the time say he felt Ice Cube was copying him, biting his style both musically and thematically.
He just dropped some shit called Badass. And if you listen to it, you can see he hit him up and was like, oh, that's how it's supposed to be.
Pac had already been waving the West Side banner, and he accused Cube of only hopping on that movement once it became profitable. Pac also believed that no one from the West, including Ice Cube and West Side Connection, were backing him up while he was going at the East Coast with songs like Hit 'Em Up. Pac felt if Cube was going to be throwing up that West Side too, that he should be side by side with Pac and that they should unite to take on the East Coast. At the end of the day, Tupac was basically accusing Cube and the West Side Connection of trying to capitalize on a movement that Pac was carrying, that West Side. Unlike many of Pac's other beefs, Biggie, Nas, Mobb Deep, Jay-Z, Ice Cube did not respond directly on wax. Some insiders say Cube privately told people he had no issue with Pac, but he also didn't appreciate Pac's energy towards him. The beef never fully played out because Tupac had his life taken from him in September of 1996. And after Pac's passing, Cube and West Side Connection carried on the West Side torch. But Cube never publicly trashed Pac posthumously. Many fans consider the beef to have been more of a one-sided Tupac frustration than a two-way war. Cube's silence was strategic. He had already survived NWA's split, his own beefs with Common and Cypress Hill, and he knew trading bars with Pac, especially while Pac was at death row, could have pulled him into something much darker. To this day, some fans argue Pac invented the beef because Cube never dissed him back. Others say Pac was right, that Cube did pivot back to the West Side rhetoric only when the market demanded it. As a hip-hop fan myself, I loved this time period in the culture. These were my high school years, and growing up and going to school in LA County, I was pro West Coast, screaming out, West Side! Even though I'm technically from the east side of LA, but that's a whole other story. But you couldn't tell me nothing about the West Coast at that time, especially when it came to Tupac and Ice Cube. Looking back, I understand both sides. I could see how Pac would feel some type of way after being popped at Quad Studios in New York. I could see how Pac felt like he was going at the East Coast all by himself, because for a certain time, he was the only one. No one else, including Cube, Dub C, or Mac 10, were going at the East. Cube had his back and forth with Common, but Common is from Chicago. Cube wasn't going all in on the East Coast like Tupac was. That is until later when Cube decided to pull out his West Side flag and rep the West to the fullest on songs like Bow Down and West Side Slaughterhouse. Side note, that West Side Slaughterhouse song by West Side Connection is one of the illest beats in hip hop history. I can't even lie, that song had a young teenage me on my F the East Coast tip for a minute. Keep in mind I was young and dumb. But looking back as a grown man, I understand why Cube didn't respond back to Pac during this time. Did Cube really want an all-out war with Death Row and Suge Knight? I mean, he just survived leaving Ruthless and going to war with them. I think Cube felt it was best to back down, let Pac talk his mess, and keep it pushing for the West. I can't even lie, though. As a hip-hop fan, I would have loved to see Cube and Pac going back and forth on record. That would have been crazy. But what do you guys think? Comment down below. I would love to know your thoughts. Tupac and Ice Cube. beef, and I put beef in quotes. Who would have won if they would have gone back and forth on record? Let's play hypothetical for a minute. If they were to go back and forth on record, who do you think would have won? Tupac or Ice Cube? Because lyrically, especially at that time, they were both at their prime. They were both the best pretty much in the game. Let's keep it real. If I had to pick one, oh man, lyrically battling, I think I would have had to go with Pac at that time. Only reason is I feel like Pac, he would have dug a little deeper. He would have said some stuff that hurts. Even though Cube had No Vaseline, one of the dopest, illest diss records of all time, Pac had Hit 'Em Up. Oh my God, when Hit 'Em Up came out, I remember playing that song back to back to back to back. To this day, I know every single word of that song, including the outro when Pac is just going off on his rant. I remember being at a party shortly after this song came out in LA, and that song played over and over, and the DJ just kept playing it, and everybody in the crowd got it more excited every time it played. And every time it played, they just kept saying the words, and everybody in the party was reciting every single word. Get out the way, yo. Get out the way, yo. Biggie Smalls just got me everything. Little move past the mat and let me hit him in his back. Frank White need to get spanked right for setting traps. Little accident murderer, and I ain't never heard of ya. Poisonous gas attack when I'm serving ya. Spank you, shank your whole style. I mean, come on, dog. The whole party was singing this song. So I don't know. I'd have to go with Pac. In hypothetical land, if they did go back and forth, I think I would have to roll with Pac. But what do you guys think? I'd love to know your thoughts. Comment down below. And please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button.
Niggas playing deadly motherfucking war games. And nigga rapping about my motherfucking life. I'm talking fake ass motherfucker.
Tupac was dissing everyone on this unreleased track, War Games, from 1996.
How many broke down rappers got some shit to say? I sit and strategize in due time, them bitches pay. Plus all day I puff beats and my eyes bleed red. Undercover tactics, leave my enemies.
War Games has an interesting story. The beat was produced in February 1996 by Daz Dillinger and was produced around the vocals for Tupac's How Do You Want It. It was intended to be the How Do You Want It Daz remix. Tupac and the Outlaws revisited the track in June or July of 1996 and completely flipped it. From a track for the ladies to Tupac declaring war and targeting everyone he had beef with at the time.
I know you niggas got no love for me, but how the f your whole clique turn the thugs on me? Like misdemeanors, it's a small thing. You niggas ain't ready for war, let my balls hang.
This would have been just 3 months before Tupac lost his life on that unfortunate night in September 1996. This was at the height of the East Coast, West Coast beef. And Pac was ready for war. At least he sounded like he was in this song.
Bust it, I took apart your whole crew like heart. I ain't concerned, I bust on bad boy, mob deep and the firm. When you scream fake thugs, who the f you mean? Get more cream than all of y'all, nigga, fuck your team.
Tupac took direct aim at Bad Boy, Mobb Deep, Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, King Son, Nas, and The Firm. He was going at everyone's neck.
Listen, you all don't get your shit now. You can't win. Tell them all to let the games begin. We having war games.
The song was never released, which was probably a good idea, being that the tensions were still so high in the streets, and this would have intensified things. We already know why he was going at Bad Boy. He thought Puff and Big had something to do with him getting popped at the Quad Studios in 1994. But why did he go after the others? Let's start with Jay-Z.
Plus Jay-Z tried to blame me, won't last long.
Tupac's animosity towards Jay-Z stemmed from a combination of factors, including his association with Biggie Smalls and the East Coast rap scene, as well as the perception that Jay-Z was copying West Coast rap styles. There were also specific incidents like Jay-Z's appearance in the Dead Presidents video and a line in Brooklyn's Finest that fueled Tupac's anger. In the song that ended up on Jay-Z's album, Biggie says, "If Faith had twins, she'd probably have two Pacs." Get it? Two Pacs. His beef with Mobb Deep stemmed from Tupac's interpretation of their song Survival of the Fittest, which was released when Pac was locked up, where the line, "Thug life, we still live in it," was perceived as a direct challenge to Tupac's thug life persona.
Murder Mobb Deep.
Mobb Deep also released a song called Drop a Gem on Him, where they made some allegations about someone taking Tupac's manhood while he was behind bars. Tupac's beef with Dr. Dre stemmed from Dre leaving Death Row due to all the shenanigans and turmoil that was going on behind the scenes that Dr. Dre was getting tired of.
Now Dre wanna switch sides. Tricks hiding war. Last year I shed tears, but I don't cry no more.
Now, King's son is a rapper out of New Jersey who was arguably one of the first people to diss Pac on record. So, Pac had King's son on his radar for quite some time.
Go ask King Son how it feel to have your ass gone.
The Firm was a group that consisted of Nas, AZ, and Foxy Brown. Their first album together was produced by none other than Dr. Dre, Pac's sworn enemy at this time. So, of course, The Firm were on Pac's hit list.
I ain't concerned, I bust on bad boy Mobb Deep and The Firm.
The song War Games was never released to the public. The vocals were released online, and several people have made remixes to it. Daz would eventually reutilize the beat on the Dog Pound track Get a Strippin', which dropped in 2001.
Tell them all to let the games begin. We having war games. Y'all niggas can't feed this shit. Got 5 times, got out of jail on bail and sold 5 million.
What is your favorite Tupac diss song? Mine was Hit 'Em Up. First off, F your bitch and the clique you claim. West Side, when we ride, come equipped with game. I remember being at a party and everyone in the party was reciting the lyrics to Hit 'Em Up, word for word, including the rant that Tupac went on at the end of the song. Now, Tupac's other diss song, Bomb First, was a close second. And in my opinion, Pac's lyrics on Bomb First were more scathing than Hit 'Em Up. We bomb first when we ride, please reconsider before you die. We ain't even trying to hurt nobody tonight, but if it's my life or your life, I'm a bomb first. But what are your thoughts on Tupac's diss songs? And more importantly, his unreleased diss track, War Games. I'd love to know your thoughts. Comment down below. And please hit that like button if you haven't already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. I'm also on Instagram at DustyVisionRadio. That's DustyVisionRadio on Instagram. Go ahead and head over to Instagram right now and follow me. I'm also on Facebook, DustyVisionTV on Facebook. That's right, DustyVisionTV on Facebook. Have you ever heard of Rumble? The Rumble app? If not, I highly suggest you download Rumble onto your phone. Just go to your Google Play Store or go to your Apple iTunes Store and download the Rumble app. That's RUMBLE. And as soon as you do that, subscribe to Dusty Vision TV, all one word, Dusty Vision TV on Rumble. All your favorite podcasters and YouTubers are going over to Rumble now. I've been on Rumble for about a year, almost 2 years now, and I'm really trying to build my audience over there. So please hit me up on Rumble, Dusty Vision TV, all one word. I also have a second channel right here on YouTube. that I would highly appreciate if you subscribe to. It's Dusty Vision Radio. Dusty Vision Radio on YouTube. I'm at about 3,500 subscribers there, and I'm really trying to get that up and popping over there. So please check out Dusty Vision Radio on YouTube. I post different content over there than I do on this channel right here. Other than that, I do appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to everyone out there listening. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.